Talk about Nigeria Super Eagle, the senior national team when it comes to football in Nigeria. The Super Eagle, they will not play at the World Cup come 2026 that will be co-hosted by United States, Mexico, and Canada. They have lost the ticket. It's going to be very, very easy for the camel to go through the eyes of the needle than Super Eagle of Nigeria to play at the World Cup, because they have lost it from the beginning of the qualifying. They have lost it, and then the game against South Africa was the final nail on the coffin. They have lost the ticket. They're not going to qualify. But let me just talk about the whole thing, because it's very pretty sad. It's embarrassing. You know, when Africa used to have just 5 representatives at the World Cup, just 5 countries, Nigeria used to qualify. Among the other countries, and now Africa have been given opportunity to present 9 representatives at the World Cup, with an opportunity for another country to go through playoff. If that country succeed, it means that Africa are going to present 10 representatives at the World Cup 2026. And then the so-called giant of Africa, let me say the so-called giant of Africa, Nigeria, will not be there. It's embarrassing. It's very shameful. And I must tell you this, because you know what? They say he who failed to plan is planned to fail. And that's the case of Nigeria. Because if you look at the whole things, it's a total mess. It's a total mess. From the beginnings of the qualifying, you know, in a group that consists of Zimbabwe, Lesotho, South Africa. And then Nigeria could not make it to the World Cup. It's embarrassing. It is. And then you want to talk about the player themselves. Sometimes a player, as a professional player, you need to play for yourself, for your career and the pride sometimes, because the biggest of them all of the competition, football competition in the world, is World Cup, that every professional player really want to play at the World Cup, especially a country, a so-called country that a football nation like Nigeria. And then as a player, you cannot qualify your country in 2 occasions, because 2022 we could not qualify to Qatar. 2022 we lost that ticket to Ghana when we play 1-1 draw in Abuja. Then based on the head-to-head rule, Nigeria could not qualify. And then here we are again, and then Nigeria is not going to play again at the World Cup. Pretty sad indeed. It's sad. And you ask yourself, but for me, I'm not surprised, because the simple question is that you just mentioned one sector in this country that is working, that government is involved, that is working well. Nothing is working well in this country. Everything is a total shambles, and then football is not just an exception. No. So you don't expect football to just stand alone. Only thing that's working is entertainment, which is largely run by the private individual. And that's why, imagine that government has to get involved in entertainment. You can just imagine how the whole thing will become a mess. So for me, I'm not surprised what is happening. And then you want to talk about NFL, that the Nigeria Football Federation. That one is another story entirely, because immediately they sack that coach that took us to Nation Cup. What they're supposed to do, they're supposed to kickstart the plan for the World Cup. They were dilly-dally. They do not employ new coach on time. They were just dilly-dally and all of that. And maybe they were thinking that team will just come to them because they are Nigeria. It's not working that way. If you don't plan, then nothing will work for you. So that's what has happened to Nigeria today. I must tell you, and it's pretty sad. It is very, very sad, because football is one of the things that actually unite us in this country. You know, when it comes to football, we forget about tribe, we forget about religion, we forget about the political party we belong to. We come together and we support Super Eagle. He gave us joy. But right now, the whole thing is a total mess, and that's what it is. Here we are again. It's another time for lamentation, you know, for Nigeria football fans. And it's pretty sad, because, you know, ordinarily, what should have happened is that after that 2022, that Nigeria could not qualify to the World Cup. If any country that is serious, we just kickstart the plan for the 2026. They were folding their hands. They do not plan, you know, for 2026. And then here we are. That Nigeria is not going to qualify again. You just can't just imagine what has happened. You can just imagine. And it's totally embarrassing. It's sad. It is pretty sad. For me, I just want to, you know, I am not disappointed. That's the fact. I'm not disappointed. 2026, if God keep us alive, I'm going to watch good football. No hard feeling. Support anything I want to support. Because Nigeria's not there. No problem. Life goes on.